This short video demonstrates improvements to type-ahead functionality new in IDLE 12.7. Until now, type-ahead has been limited to making completion suggestions for the word currently being typed. Now we're also able to include suggestions for what terms might commonly come next. For example, if the user types United, we might suggest United States or United Kingdom. These suggestions are powered by a new data index within the IDLE content component, which we're calling the phrase index. It records sequences of terms that are likely to occur together in a document. There are config parameters to control the maximum length and minimum frequency of phrases included in the phrase index, so that an administrator can tune the data footprint while still getting acceptable results. The IDLE Query Manipulation Server, QMS, will automatically include results from the phrase index in its typeahead results. So if a UI is using the QMS typeahead action as the endpoint for autocomplete, users will immediately benefit from improved suggestions once the phrase index is enabled in IDLE. So onto the demo. Here's the Find UI. If we look at the settings, we see we've enabled QMS, and we have typeahead set to use an IDLE index. And I've already got an IDLE index populated with Wikipedia documents, which at the moment is running a 12.6 version to start with, so we can see what the old results for typeahead look like. You can see we're only getting suggestions for a single word, nothing beyond that. So I'm going to stop the old version of IDLE and restart with the latest version. We're going to try the same thing again. You can see the phrase suggestions start to appear in our list. And we can get these up to 3 words in length. That's the limit configured in IDLE for phrases that will be indexed. But if we choose one of these, we get possible completions suggested, and they can go beyond the 3-word limit. IDLE looks at just the training words of the input to see if it can suggest any completions based on that. And there's our results. Let's take a quick look behind the scenes. Firstly, if we look at the requests received by QMS, you see there the standard format typeahead action. Mine hasn't had to make any changes to how it calls out to this API. If we switch to the content request log, you can see we have a bunch of term expand actions with expansion equals autocomplete. Now that's a new feature, and that's able to mix single term and phrase completion suggestions. You can see if we click through on one of these requests, say Unite, we've got United or United States or United Kingdom or United Nations. And QMS has checked that the autocomplete functionality is available and is automatically using it to service the typeahead requests from the front end. Just to show the new configuration parameters, let's load IDLE admin and inspect the settings for the content component. Under the service section, we've got enable phrase index equals true. That turns on the phrase indexing feature, as it's currently only used by typeahead and adds a certain degree of overhead in terms of footprint and index time. We've made it off by default, so it can be enabled when or where required. These settings control what goes into the phrase index. We're allowing phrases up to 3 terms in length here, and putting some minimum occurrence requirements, both on how common the individual terms in the phrase should be, and how often the phrase should occur verbatim in a single document. There are sensible out-of-the-box defaults for all of these, but they can be tweaked if required. And commented out at the moment, but it's useful if you want to turn on phrase indexing in an existing engine or to adjust any of the other parameters. There's an option to regenerate the index. If you set this to true and restart the engine, the phrase index will be populated from the current document set. So there you have it, multi-word typeahead in IDLE 12.7. Thanks for listening.